Welcome. My name is G, and this is the Cancer reading for June 2022. We're burning our sacred sage, and then we're going to do some sacred cedar, and we're going to get right into the reading. Before I forget, at the end of the reading, pull a card for Cancers. Depending upon how I'm guided, you might get a second card, maybe even a third card. Let me do my cedar first. Call in the higher octaves of energies. Information out there in the ethers, and we want only that stuff that is the closest thing to what we can call the truth. Your June, first off, there's a huge new beginning, an additional support in something that you began in the month of May. It had everything to do with your physical body. The connection of your thoughts about yourself and how you show up in the world, like this body consciousness thing happening, subconscious communications, exchange of information, possibly when you're dreaming. Let me put it like this. Do you have people that you're close to that you would consider family members, like a sibling, that just feel like a sibling in some way? You're thinking about them, and as you're thinking about them, or they happen to pop into your brain, all of a sudden they call you, right? Or you go to call them and they were like, I was just thinking about you, stuff like that. Or have you ever caught yourself getting like information, like you knew something, you just didn't know how you knew it, or possibly in your dreams? The communication, the hidden communication with self, the thoughts that go on in your brain, this is this mind of God energy. Pay attention to your dreams. You want to also pay attention to the subconscious thoughts that you keep. So in other words, it's the shit you don't say out loud. Okay, it's that stuff that you may not even whisper it to folks. It's stuff that you probably just, there's like this communication that's going on. Is there a constant record that's constantly happening, subconsciously? But it has a lot to do with options and choices. And so there's like that rethinking thing that happens. Okay. It can be fun. It can be kind of sing-songy. You may even hear songs all the time or be able to remember songs really good. But there's like this poetry type writer urge, like talking about the hidden, talking about stuff that's like behind closed doors, having communications about those things. So this was like that scribe energy, like the reporter, but it's a scribe, like remember there's a really cool poet that I'm hearing, Emily Dickinson. She had this uncanny way of talking about stuff, but it wasn't glamorized at all. It was just kind of really plain and blunt and just right out there. And yeah, this has this vibe to me. So that doesn't, go maybe read some of that and see what I'm talking about. But it's talking and thinking and communication and how that's going to change for you, and how you're understanding that there might be some outdated things, or even if they're not outdated, maybe it's time for some of that stuff that's been hidden to come out into the light, to see the light of day, to get talked about. Maybe somebody else gets to read about it, to hear about it. This energy is like the vlogger, the blogger, like talking about stuff, and it's sometimes can be very helpful and healing to those who may have gone through some of the same stuff. But what's beautiful about this is it brings healing to you. It brings healing to the duality of yourself, right? There's this dual personality stuff that goes on. The mid part of June, there's a big release happening. It's a let go, it's a release. It's like you've completed something. It's kind of like that time when we're like, I'm done with that. And it doesn't have to really be a bad I'm done with that. I know I made that sound kind of like not so hot. It has to do with something that you believe in, a belief about something, possibly a belief about freedoms, choices, foreigners, foreign lands, foreign countries, the freedom of belief. And it has to do with deep stuff, shit that matters. They're showing me an ocean. They're showing me how the ocean has these unbelievably uncharted depths that we haven't even experienced and explored. Your depth goes there. Like you have wisdom from there. It's areas that most folks haven't even experienced. On another level, whether it's a soul level, ancestry level, there's a knowledge and a wisdom of the bigger picture of how things work. And it's not just how things work in the material world, but also in the other realms. And when I say the other realms, it doesn't have to necessarily be like the way high up there 5D God realm, although it definitely can be this, because they're telling me talk about the feelings and the emotions and the exaggeration of the intensity of the emotions and the feelings. I keep hearing the soul of the universe, the soul of the universe. I keep hearing it over and over. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that out there for you. Let me know in the comments if that means something to you. But the soul of the universe, there's something there. You're tapped into it. Some people, I think, call this that the records of the soul of like the soul of the universe. The K, what is that? I keep hearing it and it goes away so fast. There's a K. It's almost like somebody's showing me a scroll and it's like super ancient and there's just all this history and this knowledge there. And it's just like from tons of people in the world. And you've met a lot of these individuals, even though like you never knew them before, but you know them now. And even though you have the familiarity of the soul, it's more like when you meet them, you're just getting to know the personalities because you already know the soul, but it's now, okay, so this is a different personality they're playing this time. And so I kind of got to work with that. But yet there's this underlining depth and connectivity between the souls happening. It's beyond global. Okay. It goes up to there, it goes there, it goes connection to those who are no longer on the material realm, out of body. So you have that ability to connect in all those different levels. And so there's a release and a belief about whether it's those individuals, but they're telling me the hurts of these people that include shared hurts with you, cellular hurts, cellular experiences, cellular SOULULAR. They're showing me a cord. They're showing me this long cord and just a connection from the subconscious, from the subconscious thoughts to the pains, to the hidden pains, the intense hidden wounds. They're saying just recognize that because of the energy that you have, okay, it's not your personality exaggerating stuff or making more out of something than it is, okay? They're saying this is the way you were born. You didn't get to pick and choose this at the time of your birth. So what you're doing in this lifetime is you're learning how to balance that, because when you came in, there was an overabundance of sensitivity to that, okay? And so even though you can be very optimistic, they're saying you don't have to be such a loner all the time, that there are, well, they say you're learning how to be a loner, and that you're realizing you can have your solitude, but you can also have your joy of being around individuals, because at the end of the day, you really have a knack being able to share your wisdom as it connects to the people that you meet. And it is not only helping, it's creating healing. And that healing is creating a major transformation for you and for them. So now we're going to go to the next part, which is this grand new beginning, is ambitions, is goals. It's career orientated, but it's so much more than a career. It's a vocation. It's shit you would do whether you got paid to do it or not. It's a wonderful feeling because it's optimism, it's spiritual, but it's not spiritual like we think, as in kumbaya and prayers and going to church. There's a leadership quality involved in this. New beginnings, loving to start things, finding ways to have others who are willing to follow you, because you got these great leadership qualities. If you have others who will follow, they can help you finishing things. They can not necessarily hold you accountable, but kind of keep you on track or rein you back in again. Like, hey, you told me we're going to start this project. And so I've got it. And so every time they come back to you with some information or with this, what their work, whatever they've done, it's a fresh thing for you. And so it kind of feels like it's rejuvenated. In some way it feels new. But I'm hearing spiritual leadership. This is Aryan energy, it is optimism. It is fiery. It is all about war and fighting, actually. It's ambitions, goals, careers. What they're saying is because the Aryan energy, when they're young, it's very immature. It's more like Aryan energy has to understand it's the fine wine. And so it takes a bit of time before you're going to open it and taste it. Taffy is here. And so this is cat energy. And they're all about making sure you have a good time and play. It's young. It's youthful. It likes to be spontaneous. It wants freedom. It wants to be able to, pop off and play at any moment, whenever it wants. They're reminding me to talk about the spirituality segment on a really high level. When it gets out of its fighting mode, they're showing me a fighter for the people, because the Aries is the head. And they're saying after a long time, when you've become that wine, you start to use the head, but not physically. normally the young ram puts the head down and rushes forward. They're saying you don't do that anymore. Now you think, you pause. And because that thinking and that pause happens, there's spiritual elements that are flowing in here. And they're saying, don't limit yourself to religion. That's what I'm hearing. They're saying, don't limit yourself to religion, because religion, they're saying that spirituality is like a blanket or an umbrella. It literally goes over all of them, not goes over and covers them up, but it includes all of them. So maybe you consider spirituality a bucket, and they all fit in that spirituality bucket. But they're just saying, you understand the big picture. This is for the next 12 to 16 months. Fiery, positive, optimistic appearances, physical appearances. So the kitty cats are all about health too, I have to add, because Taffy came here. So it's fascinating because I'm talking about Aries energy, which is the body. But then when the cats show up, it's about your health. It's about your health routines, your daily routines. It's also work routines. So keeping in mind that there's something about the daily routines that maybe they're helping or they're hurting the health and the body and the appearance. It has something to do with your goals for that, not me or them telling you, hey, there's something that's not okay. No, it's about something about some ambition that you have. This first one says, I see my parents as tiny children who need love. I see my parents as tiny children who need love. I have compassion for my parents' childhoods. I know now that I chose them because they were perfect for what I had to learn. I forgive them and I let them free, and I set myself free. The second one is, I listen with love to my body's messages. Shows a big old ear. I listen with love to my body's messages. My body is always working toward optimum health. My body wants to be whole and healthy. I cooperate and become healthy, whole, and complete. Holy moly, look at this. Gratitude and appreciation. You have a unicorn. We've got history popping out. I see faces. Believe it or not, in the mane, I see a lot of faces in the mane of the unicorn. I'll show them to you when I'm done. I see the child, which means there's history here, childhood wounds. And this child is also an adult because of the way the child is dressed. The child has on a very formal outfit. It's feminine energy, so mother energy coming through. This is moon energy, absolutely. The card even has a big old moon on it, but the moon is this rainbow around it. That is beautiful. There's a beauty, a peace, a transparency, but yet very colorful, a liveliness. I've read many times where folks think that the moon is dead because it's just a reflection. Look what your moon reflects. Your moon reflects color. It's more than just reflecting back to you. It's more than just reflecting, your childhood to you, like whatever mom and dad did or didn't do. There was more involved. There was a lot of depth. And that again speaks to what we mentioned earlier in the reading, which was soul history coming through. Your moon is alive in your life. You hold the knowledge and the wisdom of your ancestors or past lives, or both, however you want to look at it. All those faces. While I'm talking, you can see all those faces. Maybe you can't see them, but I'll hold it up closer for you to see all the faces coming through. This is information. This is the spear connecting up to the heavens, right? This unicorn, your unicorn is obviously on the ground here. You fly, whether you're flying physically, like I've got wings and I'm flying, you do because of your antenna. I know it's a unicorn and it's whatever the heck that's called, its horn, but this is really an antenna, right? And I want you to imagine your third eye opening up. Okay. Not that it isn't already open, but an expansion of it. And it's related to the past. I kind of see it as an open line, like on the telephone, right? So you're constantly getting that history from the ancestry that's coming through. And that's where you can share. And there's so much wisdom that others can learn from your experiences. See how you're connected on the land? Let me see if there's any water on here. There's a little bit of water. There's a stream through there. So we've got earth, we've got water, we've got the air, because in communication, that is air as well. And flowers and beauty are very prevalent for you. And color, that represents your opportunities. Like, even when it seems like there aren't many opportunities, there are lots of opportunities. It really comes down to you changing some of your subconscious thoughts and recognizing a lot of those subconscious thoughts are connected to outdated beliefs. And a lot of that is connected to the history. Okay. This is how it was with the ancestors. All right. And so you might have to reconcile with some of that, that there might be a belief of a lack of freedom. Okay. There might be other ways where you can achieve your freedom and you don't have to be tied down. Okay. Because so much of it is connected to the freedom. I'm sorry, what happened in childhood? Because what went on in childhood, you become an adult probably faster than most, but you actually were there was a part of you that handled it just fine because you were born older. Now, this is gratitude and appreciation on this card. It speaks to the more gratitude and appreciation you express and show, the more goodness and abundance, and the more you will be open to receiving in the gifts. The ancestors, all those faces that I was talking about, you see them now? You do, right? So it's telling you you have a lot of voices in your head. And that doesn't mean you're crazy. I don't mean it like that. You have a lot of voices in your ear because you have these voices, you have the ancestors' voices, you can hear voices on the in the ethereal realm, right? The astral realm. So there can be you may have to discern between lying spirits and the ones that are truthful. And all you got to do is say, hey, I only want the highest and the best. I only want information from source. And you very easily have it at your fingertips. You're good to go. Now I'm going to address the number 46. You're coming with this means there's a new start for you. This is the number 1, and that number 1 is a new beginning. Okay, your next card is renewal of peace. Oh, nature spirits. You talk to nature. You've got the fairy realm. Opens up to anybody who acknowledges it and seeing the synchronicities of responses, of timing. See the ears on this little one? See? You wouldn't call that a human baby. See the peak in the top of the skull, the point, and the pointy ears, the little, right. Renewal of peace. So, what this is saying is this new beginning is also going to give you additional peace. There's something about that new goal and that new ambition that is somehow going to be supporting more peace for you. Earth. Very strong earth connections. All the babies of the earth. We've got frogs there. We've got the squirrels. We've got birds, snails, mice, rodents. See that little one right there? Yeah, that's obviously a mouse. What's this one? I'm not sure, but either way, you've got the nature spirits and the animal realm with you. It means you're strongly in tune with nature. Don't downgrade your connection to it. The information that comes from the nature realm is never going to steer you wrong. Now, the number on this card is 13. So the number 13, it comes to a number 4, stability, 4 legs. Would you rather have a 4-legged chair or a 3-legged chair? It's establishing a solid foundation. And that number 4 also does represent home, by the way, and family and feelings and emotions. And that's for you, Cancer. Enjoy your June.